That's way too loud.
We don't want to scare anyone.
Don't be fucking weird.
Her.
Don't be fucking weird.
Don't be fucking weird.
Don't be fucking weird.
Don't be fucking weird.
Hosted by the funniest two people I know.
Don't be fucking weird. Don't be fucking.
Don't be fucking weird with your off.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Sid.
Hi, Kale. How's it going?
It's going good.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome
I'm
back.
Sydney. Welcome to episode 2 of our podcast.
Don't be fucking weird. I am your host, Kale.
And I'm your host, Sydney.
We are coming at you live from Gowanus, Brooklyn, New York. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. That is so sexy of you to do that.
And thank you to everybody who gave us feedback on our first episode. Everyone was so nice.
So nice. It made me feel so good. I was like, I didn't even realize that people actually listen to podcasts.
Same.
I don't. Does that make me like a hypocrite?
I'm a piece of shit.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's what we mean by literally raw dogging, though, podcasting.
Yeah.
I think we don't even listen to podcasts. We just like to hear ourselves talk.
I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I'm on a podcast. And they're like, what podcast do you listen to? I'm like, stuff you should know. I don't know. I don't even listen to that.
I don't listen. Yeah, I couldn't tell you one, I don't think. But
And-
I listen to ours.
Listen,
You should try it.
I don't want to tell you how many times I listened to our first episode, like manically listening to it. Sydney, let me just, okay. Let me address the elephant in the room. I don't have the big mama from underground. You didn't give me enough time to look for her, and I had a
Because
really
she doesn't exist. That's why you couldn't find her.
I had a really busy week, busy 2 weeks, so I wasn't able to get her on the podcast.
Kale's dream guest doesn't exist. The big mama of the civilian community underground.
You really love to knock me down, don't you?
This episode, we're going to be talking about the weirdness of COVID.
In commemoration.
Of COVID-19's 2-year
And
anniversary.
all of our fallen soldiers.
Pour one out.
Pour one out. We are going to be talking about COVID and all of her variants today on this episode number 2 of Don't Be Fucking Weird, and all of the weird shit that COVID has like done to us.
COVID is the weirdest thing that's happened to collectively everybody that I
Our
know.
like mental health, our intimacy, our energy levels, our
We're all traumatized. We all have trust
jobs.
issues. We're all fucked.
yeah, we're all fucked.
God, we're all weird now because of COVID.
I know, and you know what? We're
God.
just kind of like going through the motions, working it out.
Trying to survive another day. So that's what we're going to be talking about. But before we begin that, Kale, how was your week?
My
this
week,
past week?
I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks straight
I
up.
know. Like, yeah, like a week and a half.
A week and a half, because I went to Florida to visit Allie for, not the best reasons. I had to go. It's kind of a family emergency. Allie's dad just passed away. Yeah, very, very sad. Ed Bednar's, rest in peace. This episode is dedicated to Ed Bednar's and my best friend, Allie Bednar's. Love you very much. Hope you're listening, girlfriend. I can't stop talking in an Irish accent, but yeah,
Why?
You know what? I'll tell you why. Before I get into my week and how I went to Florida, there's this very, very, very funny thing where at my job, I have these regulars that I talk to who I very much enjoyed talking to. And there's this one Irish guy that comes in and he always orders that short Americano. And I love talking to him. Just like recently, like kind of became friends with him. And I was like, hey, I feel safe around you. I'm going to tell you that I have a podcast. And he was like, oh, I'd love to listen to it. I'm like, okay, here's the information, blah, blah, blah. It's on all streaming platforms. And, he drinks his short Americano, and he lives like a block away from where I work, and he comes back like an hour later, and I see him, and I was like, oh, you gonna order another drink? And he was like, I had to tell you something. I listened to your podcast, and your best friend Sydney, I've gone on a date with her like ages ago. And I was like, what'd you guys do? He's like, I think we took acid or mushrooms or something and walked down the water. It was a lovely date. And then I took a selfie with him and sent it to Sydney, and she hits me with the, who is that?
You don't remember him? I'm like, no. I was like, should I? I thought he went to our, I thought he went to our middle school or something.
I don't remember him.
But then when you said that, I was like,
Is he Irish?
I just saw him out of contact. I didn't see him in the contact, so I was like, who the fuck? It'd been 2 years.
It was such a sweet moment, and he's like, I really enjoyed it.
Aw.
Yeah, it was very
Call
sweet.
me.
And I was dying.
It's so funny.
I was like, there's no fucking way you want to date with this bitch.
Such a small... New York is the smallest place in the entire world. I tell people that all
So
the time.
another regular just recently told me that New York is just a bunch of small towns put together.
Yes, and all overlapping.
Yeah, it's like, how do y'all know each other? Shit, we went to Bushwick together.
Shit, we went to New York together. Everyone's in the same 5-mile radius. Shit.
Yes, he's Irish.
So now Kale has been having an on and off Irish accent.
And I think I'm very good at it.
You are.
That one was a little
I'm
forced.
I'm not even gonna attempt. I suck at it. Mine sounds like a. I get a twang sometimes.
You
but
sound
that's
like
about
you're
it.
like, I have consumption.
I'm like,
I have tuberculosis. If you had the chance to change your fate,
if
would
you had
ya?
the chance to change your fate, would ya?
I changed my fate this
Yeah,
this
what'd
week
you
in
do
Florida.
this week? Back to the fucking back to the topic at hand. How was your goddamn week?
It was great. I loved spending time with Allie. I missed her so much. I never get to
I
see
miss
her
her.
anymore. We went to the beach. I was the palest motherfucker out there. I had Allie spray me down with some suntan lotion. Me only gets sunburnt on my right ankle, which is atrocious. I'm like, no.
It's better than like half your arm or something. Like
It was a weird spot. I saw my mom, I saw my grandma, I saw my dad, I saw my Aunt Margaret, who was 97 years old,
God damn.
still sharp as a tack, telling me that she eats her oatmeal every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, her meatloaf on Wednesdays. Like,
They have a whole ass ritual.
They
once
really
you turn
do.
once you turn 70, everything's just on a schedule.
and Florida, you know, it's just bizarro over there. It's like it's its own planet. It really is. Like,
Yeah.
I went there and it was just flip-flops and people with really
Flip flops.
tan skin and weirdos catcalling you on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Gas stations.
So many gas stations.
So many
I
gas-
miss gas stations though. I didn't
Miss gas
realize until
stations.
this last week.
After I got back from Florida, I was like, you know what? I got the travel bug in me.
I know, yeah.
I wanted to go to Philly. Someone told me that I should visit Philly, and I said, you know what? Maybe I should, and I'll go by myself. So I decided
Texted
to.
me that and said,
Yeah.
"Hey, have you ever been to Philly?" You texted me this like 2 days before, and I said, "No, but I want to go. I'll go. Well, I've been like passing through, but I'll go with you one weekend."
And
you
I
go,
said, nope, I can't wait.
"No, you were okay. You will." I said, "Yeah." Then the next day, when you were on your manic spree, you're like, "I'm at Penn Station, about to buy a ticket to Philly. I'm on a lot of Adderall." I'm like, Jesus Christ, don't go.
I had a fucking panic attack inside of Penn Station. I was sweating. There was a line of 300
What were you
people.
panicking about?
I was panicking because I couldn't see straight. I was coming up so fucking hard. I was tweaking, Sid.
coming up on the Adderall.
Yes,
Were you on Adderall or Molly?
I was coming up really hard. I'm gonna say it again. I was coming up on the Adderall. I was coming up on the Adderall, and I just like couldn't see straight, and I had to go to customer service for Amtrak and be like, "Hey, can you talk to me like I've never been here before and I don't know how to buy a ticket to a train?" And he just looks at me and he points in a direction. He goes, "They're over there at a kiosk."
He's like, "I don't want to talk to you, bitch."
My eyes were probably like bugging out. And the tickets were really expensive, so I walked to Central Park, laid on a rock. It was still 20.
Didn't I tell you to do that? I said,
Yeah.
go to Central Park and chill out.
And I was like, okay. And I did. I listened to music. I texted some people. I FaceTimed some friends and was like, hey, I'm having a hard time. It was 25 degrees outside, even in the sun. It was not relaxing. So then I wanted to go to the MoMA, to a museum, and I realized that this was the day after 2 people got stabbed at the MoMA.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was closed. And so, well, now where do I go? Well, I'm right by St. Patrick's Cathedral.
Adderall makes you religious.
I found God that day because I went inside and I
Yes.
went to church. I went to
do that
church. I bowed at the
know.
what's it called?
The steeple or what
Here's
the
a
fuck-
church and here's a
The
steeple.
platform.
Make sure you bow for
The cross. The communion.
And I stayed for communion. I never like drank the body of Christ or whatever.
I'm
And
baptized, so I can.
did my little Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
And as it is in heaven, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
And so I left after communion.
Did you meet anybody at church?
No, I was thinking that I was going to find me a husband or a wife, but maybe not a wife in a Catholic church. The Pope's looking at me. Hey, you can't do that. Hey, that's not allowed. So I left after communion, and I was like, okay, I haven't eaten all fucking day. End up just having a weird experience at a bar later. It's been quite the week. So I was really missing you, Sid.
God, that's
I
why
really
old people
needed you.
schedule. That's why old people schedule their meals, because they have to take medicine.
They can't do the chaos anymore.
And they don't know when you
Your
take
grandpa
Adderall,
does that.
You have to schedule out when you eat because you won't eat all day. So that's probably why they schedule out their meals.
Because they're on so much medication.
Yeah, my grandpa. Yeah, that's why. My grandpa does that too. He did that all week. I was visiting my grandparents in North Carolina this past week. I went and surprised him for his birthday.
How was that?
It was North Carolina.
Yeah.
It was.
How was your
It was
grandparents' house, North Carolina?
That's what it was. It was.
Let's just say it was North Carolina.
It was North Carolina. It was good. The first night I got there, I got way too drunk. I went out with my dad, and he out drinks me.
Your dad is a fish when it comes to drinking.
God.
He's also Irish.
He's also Irish. They're looking at Irish. That's what they keep saying I am. I'm like, my ethnicity is not only Irish. I'm
So much more than
so
that.
much. I'm so much more than my
Guys.
ethnicity. Come the fuck on.
So you ended up blacking out with your dad?
So I black out. We left the front door open in my grandparents' house.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I don't remember letting the
you
dogs
guys are the
out.
worst roommates ever.
Yeah, I'm like, welcome to my life, Mimi and
Hey.
Dado.
Dado.
That's my grandparents' names. And so, yeah, so I black out the first night I get there, and then I had to go to a quilt show the next. My grandparents are really Catholic, and I had to go to a quilt show with my grandmother. And she wanted to introduce me to all of her friends.
Took
and
you
I
on
was
stage.
so hungover. Yeah, I'm on stage in a church, mind you. The quilt show's in a church.
The lights are blinding you. You're
I start
sweating.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, I'm about to throw up again. I've already thrown up twice that morning, and so I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
I start to run like down the stage through the church and getting tangled up in the quilt.
She's a thespian. Passion of the Christ or Passion of the Quilt?
Passion of the Christ on the quilt. God, that's my biggest fear. And so I'm like, I run to find the bathroom. I'm about to puke. I'm puking in my hand. I have my hand over my mouth. I'm like, and I'm like,
I felt that.
I'm gonna projectile if I don't find a toilet right now. And so I run into the handicap stall. I'm at a quilt show. Obviously, someone's gonna come into the handicap stall. I don't know what I was.
You're
thinking.
at a geriatric quilt show.
God, of course everyone's gonna be handicapped there, and I took the fucking stall like a bitch.
They have walkers and shit.
Yes, and so I couldn't figure out how to lock the door, and I didn't have time because there was puke in my hand.
What
So
do you live in a barn? Close the door.
God, so I'm in the stall puking, taking a selfie, and I'm this old ass woman, crypt keeper. I thought it was God himself. I'm like, I've seen the light. I was dying.
Yet again, you have seen the
she
light.
walks into the fucking stall because I didn't lock it, and I'm like, bitch, get out. Like,
Get out!
get out. And so I was super hungover that whole day. I threw up. We went and picked my sister up. I'm like, that was only day one.
You're like, enough about me throwing up.
I'm like, so I threw up the entire trip.
That's
No,
all I really remember.
I only drank like one day, and then the rest of the time I just spent time with my grandparents, my cousins,
and going
my
cuckoo
family.
luku bananas crazy.
I went and saw Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman. And honestly, I thought it was way overhyped.
Oh, I actually quite enjoyed it.
I thought it was great, but I was like, okay, people on Twitter obviously have not watched a lot of Robert Pattinson movies, and I feel like that.
His style of acting, you mean?
Well, everyone was like saying how amazing he is, and I'm like, yeah, obviously,
No,
but
he's-
this was not his best movie.
I don't think so either.
Have y'all seen Remember Me?
Have y'all seen Twilight?
Have y'all seen? If y'all weren't there for Twilight, you don't get to be there for the Batman.
Exactly. We
goes full
walked so you
circle.
could run.
God damn it. And so, anyways, it was great. And then, what else happened? Yeah, and then I came home, flew home today,
Yeah,
and
didn't
I
get much
basically
sleep,
just
did ya?
worked all. Yeah, I didn't sleep a lot, and I basically just worked the whole time I was in North
And
Carolina.
Max, your dog, shit in the airport.
Yeah, this morning my dog shit in the airport on the way, on the way to the airport a week ago. He shit, or no, he pissed in the airport, and I'm like,
In the
"God,
airport.
in the airport. He's sorry, ma'am. My dog is pissing in the airport. And then I'm like, I have like 5 bags too when I go to the airport and a suitcase.
Your
and
mom life.
God. And I was like, Max, can we just not piss on the floor? And then he shit in the floor today. But we're all good. We came home and took a nap, and, you know.
The rest is history.
The rest is history. I flew out from the studio last week and flew in this week.
Excellent.
Excellent. Good job, girl boss.
That's a mighty fine schedule if I do say so myself.
You're a hustler, babe.
We're always working. I gotta go to the stew in Gowanus. Someone messaged me and was like, "Why are you always in Gowanus?" I was
Kale's
like,
whole personality trait is
I gotta
Gowanus.
keep up with the brand,
Doesn't
bitch.
live over here. That's what's so funny. You don't live in Gowanus. You live so far
but
from
I rep it.
Gowanus, and everything's Gowanus. You're like this little like. Hey,
I should just wear a
You should
shirt
wear a
that has like a
shirt.
bedazzled Gowanus.
you need. You really need that.
I said,
Oh my
I was
God.
baptized in the canal.
By Nelly.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so I guess that's our weeks where I don't know. I'm happy to be home. I'm happy.
I'm
to-
happy you're home too. I missed you
Same,
so
I missed
much.
you so much.
I was like, I was telling Nico, I was like, when the fuck is this bitch gonna come home?
I know. You're like, hello.
Hello?
So yeah, I guess that moves on to our topic this week, which is COVID. I don't know how that
COVID.
moves on to it, but somehow we're
Well,
just gonna
the
move on.
interlude music will
Yeah.
come in.
And now it's time to talk about our COVID of the week, our topic of the week.
Our topic of the week is going to be the 2-year anniversary of COVID and how it has like affected us in so much.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday,
Happy
Kobe.
birthday, Kobe! Happy birthday, Kobe, mama!
Oh my coochie coochie coo.
You're such a good girl. She's almost a toddler.
In 2020 is when shit started popping off.
This week in 2020.
Sid, you were in New York during prime COVID. I was in Atlanta. What was New York like?
So it was very different. Well, I was in Florida like March of 2020, and I was there until June. But even in June, there was still like curfews. Everything was shut down. It was completely different worlds from Florida to like anywhere in the South. Even when I was in Georgia, I was there like I think in April, and it was completely different than in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Here it was like, which it makes sense. Like everybody's so close together. Everyone's looking out for each other. Everything spreads so easily here.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it makes sense that it was so strict, but it was just a very weird, like I don't even know how to explain it.
Kind
really.
of like a fever dream.
Yeah, I think the whole thing was like a fever dream, and it was weird going back and forth between Florida and New York because I was living in these two completely different worlds.
Yeah, and it's just like everything here was shut down. It was just takeout only, or what?
Yeah, and we had the drinking and like the drinks to go. I mean, the drinking in the
Yeah.
street is what I was about to say. Parks were a big thing. I got really lucky that the people I lived next door to ended up becoming like some of my best friends.
How are you
And
keeping yourself busy?
honestly, I don't know. Erica and I were talking about this because we were like 2 summers ago, like 2020 summer, we were next door neighbors for like 2 months, and then I had to move. But we were like, we would just wake up and we would go get coffee. We would come back and work together. Like we both were working remote, and then we would just get so drunk. Like that was like a routine. We
We would just go blast off.
we were like, how did we drink so much? Like we'd be like, well, there's nothing else to do. Like there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Let's go get some drinks and sit on the balcony or the roof or the park. And like, that's all we did.
Yep.
Like people would come over to my apartment, or we'd just like go to theirs. Like we just apartment hopped and literally went to the park and drank. I feel like we didn't know what else to do.
What a beautiful life.
And then I redid my room probably 14 times over the course of 2020 into
You're
2021.
like, let's just move some shit around and see how it goes.
I'm like, let's put some brick on this wall. I'm gonna do it myself.
Uh,
Like crazy.
what was your takeaway from all of it?
Like the weirdest part of COVID.
yeah,
Or,
pretty
like,
much.
Yeah. I think the weirdest. I mean, obviously everything. Like everyone had the same experience. Not the same experience. I mean, I went through a 2-year. I was in a 2-year anniversary. I was in a 2-year relationship, and then we went through a breakup right before COVID happened. And then everyone in Florida like thought I was basically making it up. Like I was telling everyone 'cause
Making what up?
COVID, because I was working in New York, and I was like, all my clients were cutting their budgets, blah blah blah, and I was like, oh my God, like telling all my friends in Florida where I was living, I'm like, guys, this shit's crazy. And
Yeah.
everybody was like, are you on drugs? Like,
They were gaslighting the shit
they
out
were
of you.
gaslighting the shit out of me. I was like, no, this thing's real. Like, oh my God.
This
like,
is real.
I'm like, this shit's going hard. Like, she just dropped. And I'm like, oh my God. And then,
like, oh my
I
God.
was like, oh my God. The weirdest part of it, I guess, was dealing with the completely different environments of Florida and New York with a lot of my friends being in New York. And
yeah,
then
it seemed exhausting.
my family and friends in Florida. It was just two completely different environments. And then, I mean, the weirdness of COVID in general, it flipped everyone's world upside down, I think. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even
There's so many things
I don't even
to
know what
pinpoint.
I don't even know if I have a memory before COVID. I'm like,
I
think
know
I'm just
what
like,
happened before then.
Yeah, now it's not even weird anymore. Now it's just like,
All I know is fine dining and breathing.
all I know is to-go margaritas and blacking out at the
And-
park.
And Tiger King.
God. Oh my God. What
Oh my
do you
God.
think was the weirdest?
For
part?
me,
Yeah.
on my part, well, I was living in Atlanta, and as I talked about in the last episode, I've healed a lot from this specific thing, so I can talk about it. But I got like my heart shattered, like more so than like ever.
You're like,
before.
more so than you, bitch.
More so
You're
than-
like, my breakup was you're like, you went through a 2-year breakup, bitch.
You're fucked up for that. I did not mean for it to come off that way.
You're like, no, my
Not to
heartbreak.
make this a competition, but my heartbreak was a little bit worse than yours, for reasons we can't talk about and only my therapist knows. But basically, went through a really, maybe not as bad as Sydney's heartbreak, but I was just kind of dealing with like how to cope with that, because like we were like living together for like a little bit of it, just like spending the night at each other's houses, and then it just like got completely cut off. And everyone in Atlanta, everyone was like, well, we can't have this person over because if we have this person over, then
they saw this person
Exactly.
in that. It was an elitist-ish like feeling. I don't know what the word is to describe it, but it felt.
It was very bizarre to be like, this person is allowed over, but this person is not.
Yeah.
Everyone was picking and choosing like who you could hang out with and who you couldn't hang out with. Because we had a friend, me and Maddie had a friend staying with us, and like I remember I went on a date with like an ex to like Oakland Cemetery, and we had such a great time, and I was so happy to come back home and be like, oh my God, like it was so great, like we had such a good time, like I missed them so much.
You're like in the midst of this entire world collapsing. Here's
Exactly.
like hung out with a friend.
Exactly. And then the friend was like, I don't feel comfortable staying here, and like blah 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 blah. And I was like, I totally understood where she was coming from, but I was like, oh, like this is where I have to start like thoroughly adjusting to something that
A weird ass overthinking everything you're doing kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like that. And so like it would stem into like, you know, if we wanted to invite someone over, it's like, okay, well, are we doing an outside backyard hang, or are we having them come in the house and only wear a mask the whole time? Well, like, if they take their mask off, who have they been hanging out with, and what have we been doing, and like, blah, 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 blah,
Very
blah.
pick and choosy. That's how it was in New York for me.
Exactly.
Florida wasn't like that, but New York, it was like...
Everyone had their little COVID pods.
I mean, like, I get it. Like, not to, like, downplay COVID at all, but it was just,
Not
like...
at all, but it just, like, in retrospect, it sounds nerdy. Like,
It
this
was.
is my pod.
Because it didn't... Scientifically, none of that shit makes sense. Like, you're gonna go to the grocery store, but you're gonna, like... I don't know, pick and choose who is worthy
Exactly.
of, like, who you trust more of their friends and stuff. That's just fucking weird.
And then I would have to start telling, like, my roommate, everyone that I was seeing. And I was like, wait,
like,
I never did this
that
before.
Wasn't our responsibility was not to be fucking crime Ghostbusters after COVID. tracing.
Hey, did you log in your book today who you saw and who you
so scary.
who you shook hands with? That was another thing. Like, people were getting weird about shaking hands when, like, even after
Hugging.
we can't hug each other right now.
It's the lack of, like, thinking the science through, like, things that just don't make fucking sense. Not even to be a, like, conspiracy theory sounding or QAnon or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like, if we're in the same room and we're sitting next to each other
And we're going, you know, that meme
Like-
that's like, I can't believe that us going inside public places with our masks on and then sitting down and taking them off didn't work. We finally realized after we stopped washing our fucking groceries like maniacs, that it was airborne. and people were still not shaking hands. I'm like, y'all realize that we can just wash our hands, right? Like, we can still deal with money too. And
Everyone
like,
just like forgot how viruses work.
exactly. And then people with the elbow bumps or something.
Ew,
Those
youth pastor vibes.
those were youth pastor vibes, bro. And I was just like, oh my God, don't fist bump me.
Who the
You.
if you fist bump me, I'm gonna punch you back. But not in your
Foreshadowing, that
fist.
gives me the ick.
Yeah, that is an ick.
That is an ick.
Or a not even a high five, because that's where COVID lives.
Yeah. Oh,
People
sorry.
are so fucking dumb.
Oh, and then you would come up to someone and be like, oh, can I hug you? Are you doing hugs? I did not like that because I'm a very affectionate person. Are you doing hugs right now? No. Boo. Get out of my face.
Boom.
No. Boo. I don't like that. I don't like that because I'm like, let me give you a hug.
You're asking.
I
You're the where
I-
my hug at guy.
I was the wear my hug at ass.
You
But
are.
I was respectful of boundaries, and I always feel like everything
Yeah.
that I say I have to like go back and be
Justify
like, well,
it.
hey.
Before y'all come at me,
Exactly. I have my hands up. My hands are
I'm
up.
like, we're
All
not
right.
pieces of shit, but like just
We
think.
respect it.
You're
We
not allowed
respect
to
it.
think through you're not allowed to think about anything
allowed to-
anymore.
When I was going through a breakup, I was like, I really need a hug. I really do. I want to like have someone hold me, and I needed that, and people were just being really weird about it, and it just like deeply affected like intimacy and like how I dealt with wanting to be intimate with people. And don't even get me started on the Zoom dates or the Zoom weddings.
God damn it. This was the pandemic was like my first time actually starting to date. I'd always been in like more serious relationships. So for me, it was honestly like seeing dating trends, I guess, going through the pandemic as being single this whole time. Like
yeah.
it started out for me being in Florida, very intimate. Like dating was super like opposite of that. It was very intimate because all you could do was have someone come over and cook dinner at your house, which is like I
Exactly.
would never let people over at my house before, and like I still didn't even know how to date. So I was like, what the fuck? You want to come over and cook dinner with me and
That is so
make
like
coffee? Like
married life.
yeah, and it was very intimate with like random people, and I was like, this is weird.
I
And
feel really close to you or very far away from you. I don't really know.
I'm like, are we gonna talk after this? Like we're
Exactly.
making dinner together and then like bye.
What
It's
is this,
so
a 90s
weird.
rom-com?
Yes, it was so strange. It was super intimate at the beginning because you could only do.
Written by a man. You're in his big, long button-up. It's like overflowing. You're in your
He's
little...
making me the frothed coffee that you see on TikTok.
You're
Singing
in
to
your
me.
Calvin
That
Klein
really
whitey
happened.
tighties.
That literally happened. That's disgusting. But then it got more people got more scared of the intimacy thing, you know, like
Yes.
especially with like the different spikes going on. Then it's like, I mean, I think just maybe like I've always been like that though. I'm not like very, I don't know.
You're not a hugger.
I'm not a hugger. I hug you when you see you, but I don't
yeah.
like.
Sometimes you give like a little weak hug. You're like a little pat on
I'm
the
like
back.
a little. I'm
You-
the elbow bumper. I'm talking shit about them, and I'm the one walking around bumping
You're
elbows.
hey, what's up? I'm not hugging
God,
you.
Who the hell invented that?
I don't know.
Who
Like
was
you
like,
said,
"That's
a
a good
youth
idea."
pastor.
That was
Hey,
trying not to touch their
Kids,
kids.
Jesus is swag.
Jesus is swag.
Jesus is dope. Come on. I stan Jesus Christ.
God, they use buzzwords like nobody's fucking.
That's what I needed at St. Patrick's Cathedral. I needed a little youth pastor vibe, so maybe I would have stayed longer.
And honestly, if you're a youth pastor, it's fine. It's just don't elbow bump me.
One time I called, I like had known my coworker for maybe 30 minutes. It was like his second day. And Calvin, if you're listening, this is about you. You remember this very specifically, but I just look at him and I go, hey, I'm going to say something. You are just giving straight up youth pastor vibes.
Some people just do, and that's
They-
okay.
Like very
What do you
coiffed,
say?
combed hair. And he goes, well, I did go to, I was religious. I don't remember what he said. He was like, I did go to church at one time, but thank you, I guess. And I was like, I guess it's a good thing. You're very handsome.
Very welcoming.
I don't know.
What are some great qualities of a youth pastor? Welcoming, talkative.
Plays the guitar.
They have to play. Where's Fedora? Maybe thespian.
Jason Mraz.
Jason Mraz is a youth pastor.
Do, 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 do.
Come to Christ.
So yeah, COVID was very weird, and
COVID was weird. It still is really
I'm
weird.
slowly getting my intimacy like back and in like full gear. You know what I mean? Like I'm more willing to just like put myself out there and like be intimate and like touch my friends on the shoulders and give them hugs when I see them and
That's
like shake and
crazy.
like hold their hands and like scratch their backs and like stuff like that. I'm like, this used to freak me out because people made it so weird for me to do that.
That's crazy. I mean, I guess I never really had that issue because I don't.
You lack intimacy.
Not that I lack intimacy, but like, I don't know. I just never have like, I'm never the initiator of it, so I never had to like teach myself not to like touch people or not.
Oh,
Unless
interesting.
it's like a guy. Yeah, that's what I was like
Yeah.
interested hearing you say that, because I was like, I didn't even think of it that point of view, because for me it's like I don't go up and just hug people, you know. I feel
when
like,
I say hey to people, I'm like, hey, like give them a hug or whatever. I think I love to initiate like physical touch.
yeah, you and my sister both are very
Riley.
yes, and I'm not like that at all. I'm just like, and so for me that wasn't a problem. I was like, okay, I won't touch unless
But
I'm like,
you did not mind slapping that guy's butt that we saw on our way to the studio.
Yeah, on our way here, we were walking in my neighborhood on like coming here, and I see these calves, these beautiful calf muscles in front of us. Gorgeous calves. And I was like,
CALVES.
calves. Cows. Like literal baby cows. And I see this man's legs. So I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like checking
Humana, aruga. Boing,
I'm like
boing,
checking
boing.
him out, and I'm like, wait, I think I recognize this. And I like look at his shoes, and I'm like, I know who that is. And then I like ran up, and also him and I had been texting. We were gonna hang out later today, and I don't think he knew I was back in town yet. And so I ran up behind him and smacked his butt. And I think I scared the shit out of him. We scare someone every week.
We scare someone every. Hey, keep them on their toes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Keep them on their toes. Well, happy anniversary, COVID.
Happy birthday to you.
You ruined our lives. You suck and we hate you.
And that was all improvised. That was good. That was good.
You celebrating like that gave me the ick.
Yeah, me too. The stroke part or the sing part?
That was good. Nodding the head like that. You look like a baby dancing.
Speaking of icks,
Why don't we move into our segments?
so we're gonna move into our segments now.
How about we move into our segments? Wait, what was that? Let's go into segments.
So we're gonna do our weekly segments, and if you remember last week, each week we're gonna do like 3 reasons to scream. That was a loud one.
Thank you.
And
I
then
was practicing.
And then we'll do like 3 honorable mentions. And this week, they're going to all fall under, those are going to be subcategories under the category of icks.
The category is
icks. So an ick is like when you see a person, either you're romantically, platonically, whatever, it could be a stranger involved with some way that you see them just like do something that makes you
a
like
person,
shudder.
place, or thing. A noun.
Yeah, action. An ick
Exactly.
is
A verb. Something you do.
An ick is a verb, and basically someone just does this like intrinsic behavior that they don't know they're doing. Really, it could be
it's
anything.
the way they move, or like it could
it's
be
how they
anything.
respond. It's a reaction, but
Where
it completely turns you off.
Time freezes, and you see that thing, and it gets stuck in your head, and you're like, it's burned into you're like, you
you're
get the
repulsed.
heebie. Yeah, you're like, that gives me. Ugh, you like shake. You're like, that was. I don't know what that
Like,
was,
but
but that was gross.
That was. I can't look at you again. Like if you're sometimes it's happened.
Can't look at you the same.
I've been like dating someone, and I get the ick, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm out of here. Like I can't talk to them again.
Can't talk to you anymore.
So this week, like, our 3 reasons to scream are going to be like 3 things that give each of us the ick, whether that means you know, win ourselves in anything.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do our like 3 honorable mentions of being like good qualities, like the opposite of an ick. But
exactly,
I don't know
like
the
in
word.
friendship or like relationships.
Just
Same
something
thing.
hot
Strangers.
people do.
Exactly. What is something
Qualities
that people
this
do that is
week, yeah.
sexy?
So, Kel, you want to go first?
Oh, that was so polite. We were trying to ask each other at the same
Aw.
time. I want you to
us.
go first because chivalry is not dead.
Okay, thanks, baby. So my 3 my 3 icks like bad icks are
Number one.
number one is somebody paying with a gift card. I don't know. It's so sad because like I
Do
get
it by yourself.
I don't know what it is about just like the act of like it takes so much effort. I feel like to pay with a gift
Yeah.
card. I feel like it's just the whole
Yeah, and they
act.
have to swipe it. There's not a chip
And then
for
they
it.
need a receipt to see the balance.
Yes,
like
exactly.
I don't know
You have
what
$3 left. It's like, go fuck yourself.
because like I get excited if I get a gift card. Like it's okay, but I don't like when anyone gets excited. Like gift cards are cute, but like just seeing someone use one, I don't know what it is. I'm like, God.
Number
And
two.
that's not even to be classist or anything. That's just like the action.
You're like, I have to justify it.
Yes, I have to justify it. Number two, so one time I was seeing somebody and they got hit in the head with a soccer ball. And just like seeing this person's reaction to getting hit in the head by
They said,
something.
Ouchie.
Yeah, ow.
Bonk.
That's fucking disgusting to me. I'm sorry, anybody.
Someone who gets hit in the head with anything.
You get up too fast on the plane and you hit your head on the luggage.
Oh shit.
That's bad.
That we have a lot of airport icks. We'll get into
We do
mine.
have a lot of airport icks. And my third one is when specifically men, and I love men a little too much, so this is not a men hatred podcast whatsoever. But my third one would be when men get haircuts
Oh no.
and they like it.
are proud of it.
They're so proud of it, and it's like they look like they just came out of the draft. Not to bring the war into this, I know it's
Again.
but they do look like they think that they look so. It's this false confidence.
Oh no.
Oh.
Sid.
Like I saw like
that
something
makes
on.
me a little sad.
It makes me a little
Because
sad
they're so happy
too.
about it. They're so confident. And I think people deserve to be confident. But there's like this slippery slope where it starts to get icky. Because
Just a
maybe they
haircut.
don't look good.
Or also like I got used
Or they
to the-
take too much off.
So, I don't know what it is, but something about like girls getting haircuts look beautiful.
They look like they're coming out fresh out the salon,
Commercial, yeah, fresh out the salon. But men, just
No.
And they have to get haircuts, but they should get a haircut and then they should hibernate. That's when they should use their gift card.
Exactly.
They get a haircut, go incognito, put your fucking mask on.
I think that what they need to do is get out of the salon, the barber, wherever they get their haircut, and just ruffle their hair with their hands a little
They always
bit.
take a picture of it, freshly.
It
I don't
looks too
know.
fresh.
It looks too weird. What are your icks?
Well, number one is like random strangers. This is not having anything to do with like friendships, relationships, anything. This
Or
happens.
disclaimers.
This happens a lot at my job, and unfortunately, it happens a lot with men who come in and they come up to the register. And not that I'm looking at your crotch, but whenever someone's zipper
But I
is
am.
down, but whenever someone's zipper is down and they come up to the counter, I'm like, this is.
See, that
do
makes me
not-
sad.
I don't like when people's zippers are down. I saw like this girl's zipper was down at the register today, and I was just like, what is happening? Like you went pee-pee and like you just didn't zip up your pants.
It might have broke. Maybe it broke or something.
And that's just like,
This could be a practice for your intimacy. You could just lift it up for them.
oh my
Zip it
god.
up.
No, I'll tell them. Like usually, like especially if it's men, I like kind of like to embarrass them just a little bit. Give them
Evil.
I'm a little evil. I'll be like, they'll like order their drink or whatever. I'll be like, ice or hot? Do you want to for here to go? They'll, your total $6, and I'll be like, by the way, your zipper's down. Goodbye.
By the way, you piece of shit. I could see your dick right now. I can see your ball sack stuck
You're
in your
showing
zipper.
your dick literally and metaphorically and figuratively.
You're
Goodbye.
like, just stop hitting on me.
Exactly. Is it your zipper down, or are you just happy to see me? And the second one, also dealing with pee-pee, is one time I was dating this person, and he was like driving in the passenger seat of my car. We're just driving around, and he's like, Kayla, I really gotta pee. I really gotta pee.
That alone
First
is
of
an
all, why are you as a man going to the bathroom?
Why are you as a man in the passenger seat?
Why am I driving Miss Daisy?
You're his Uber driver.
I mean,
That's the real
he's
story.
riding shoddy. I got 4.9 stars.
I like, I have to find a bathroom ASAP.
He's like, I have to go. Like, can you please go to a gas station? I was like, sure. So I stop at this gas station. He like jumps out of the car. That's ick too.
He probably saw his butt crack.
Probably. So he comes out and not again, as I'm not looking at the crotch, but as soon as he's coming out, I mean, I am. My eyes just go to it. And as soon as he's coming out of the gas station, you know what I see? A little pee-pee stain. Like right around his like urethra where his soft penis would be. And I'm like, I know you just told me that you're peeing, but I don't want to see your pee-pee on your shorts because
I don't mind that.
You're a nasty bitch.
I think that's
that was pick me of you.
I know it.
Why was that?
It did.
You're like,
that
God, I like that.
I don't. I'm
You like piss play?
Well,
You got a piss kink?
no,
Not the kink shame.
not to king shame, but a guy did pee on my couch in my room. Well, like, not to get into that. Okay,
There was a third one.
what's the third one?
Let's see. When I went to Florida, I was going through airport security, and that's always like a very scary thing to go
morning.
through. They're always so mean.
I got the ick from myself this morning from it.
They're so mean. So it was 5 a.m. I have like black pants on, got my loafers on, so I just can like take off my shoes, which is ick. First of all, taking off your
Showing
shoes,
your socks.
what is this, Chuck E. Cheese?
Yes. That's what it feels like.
People are
Get in the ball pit.
Get in the ball pit. Oh my God, you want some pizza after this?
Literally.
Oh my God, animatronics. And so I'm like going through security, and TSA is like, ma'am, you're gonna have to come over here. And I was like, what's going on? And this lady's like, it's 5 a.m, like I said. And so she's like, okay, I'm gonna have to pat you down with the back of my hand. Do you have any sensitive spots in the area? And I was like, what is she saying? And she's like, we see this in the area. And do you need a private screening? And I was like, you said, do I need to go into the room? And she was like, yes. Do you want to do it here, or do you want to go into a room? And I was like, fuck it. How weird is it gonna be? Let's just do it right now. It's gonna take like
I'd rather
30
have
seconds.
witnesses.
Exactly. So she's patting my pussy. She's like patting it with the back of her hand. She's patting the back of it, the front of it. If you see it from the front, wait till you see it from the back. And so I'm like, and then she's touching my like breasts and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God. And everybody's watching me. And I was just thinking in my head, I was like, if I was dating someone like my girlfriend, my boyfriend, whatever, and they were watching this at 5 a.m, me just getting my shit patted down. What? That is disgusting.
It's not even your fault.
It's not even my fault. Like,
But
I was just wearing a
is.
hoodie. But like, I don't want people thinking like, oh, she's smuggling drugs to Florida, or like she has a BOMB strapped to her, you know? Like, I can't say it. I'm not in an airport right now, but like, you know, like,
You could be listening to this.
exactly. Oh, that's also right. If you are listening to this, might we suggest putting headphones on?
The boyfriend I saw earlier told us that he was listening to our first episode and that this was not safe for work.
Yeah, so maybe we should have told you that earlier.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You already know though. Look
But
at the
that-
name.
Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. But that gave me the ick, and I was like, Kale, you're disgusting.
It was not even your fault.
You're fucking disgusting,
You're
Kale.
fucking disgusting. Can't even make it through TSA, bitch.
You're not built for this shit.
You don't know how to travel.
That's the ick too. Like if your partner does not know how to travel well or pack well, or like I get the ick when people don't know how to leave immediately out of the house. I'm like, if you don't have your
so
shit,
long.
if it takes you a long time to get out of the house, like, oh my gosh, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? Like, don't panic. That's just freaking me out. Like,
Oh, me too.
you need to
I
be
think that-
under control.
That's one of my the honorable mentions.
Let's move into that.
Yeah, that's literally one of mine is
Number one.
Number one, honorable mentions. Like
What do you like? Yeah.
good things that people do. It's literally that is when like they're in a high stress situation, environment or something.
An
and
emergency happens.
and they are calm, cool, and collected. Like just seeing anybody that's like shit, they missed their flight and they're not like sitting there like Like, unless it's like an emergency, okay. But like
Yeah,
even then,
yeah.
even then,
Even
like,
when it's an emergency
react-
and you miss it,
pull it together. I
Exactly.
love seeing that is so sexy to me. I'm like,
there is
that
a light at the end of the tunnel.
that's the opposite of like everything is gonna be okay. Always.
Every little thing. It's gonna be alright.
Otherwise, you'd be dead. So I'm like,
That's a little
if it's
extreme.
not okay, if it's not okay, it's not the end. So I think that like seeing somebody react to like is the opposite of an ick. Is seeing somebody just be chill and be like,
Yes.
like I forgot my phone on Valentine's Day on a first date on Valentine's Day. That's already a really fucking
Weird one.
weird thing.
Intimacy. Speaking of intimacy.
Speaking of intimacy, I'm on my whatever.
We have no boundaries anymore.
I don't. And so I left my phone at the restaurant we went at, and the guy was just so chill. He was like, "Oh, I mean, I had to be chill, obviously, because I can't be a fucking hypocrite again."
Yeah.
But I was like, "Oh, it's okay. Like, we'll get it later," which that's usually how I am, and I think that's why I like other people to be like that.
And he was very supportive of it, and like
He was like, "Oh, no big deal." He's like, "Are you not like worried about it?" And I was like, "No," but he wasn't like annoyed or any, he was just
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, like we'll figure it out." Like I think that's just cool. So like first thing, I guess.
yeah, first thing.
First thing is when people are just chill and like
their
calm,
fight or
cool,
flight
collected.
is like,
yes.
is it fight?
No, they're their fight or flight is fight because they're just like fuck it, like
Exactly.
they're the Ukrainian president. They're like, I'm here, we're gonna get through this.
And my family. Me and my family are going to war.
Yes.
Just like a man should. Put his children in the
It's
war.
so sexy.
What's your second one?
My second one is when random strangers, anyone is talking highly of their friends or
That
people
is
they're associated with.
That's so sick.
I think that's so cool. And like when I hear somebody talking, like it could be at a party and they're like, "Oh, you should meet so and so," or like they're wanting to connect their friends, or like they're intermingling their friend groups and stuff. I
Mhm.
think that's very cool. That's like opposite of an
That's
ick.
admirable.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
someone's like talking shit about if all I hear is people talking shit, I'm like, that gives me the ick. So the
Yeah,
opposite
why are you
of
guys
that,
doing that so loudly
that's
in public?
and that's embarrassing. Like, why are you hanging out with people that you hate that much? Or like, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's cool when people like surround themselves with people that like they look up to or they're
I
like
get it,
inspired
talk
by.
shit, but like we need to do that in private.
And then the other opposite of an ick is when people are actually like, my third one is when they're actually funny and they're not, and like they don't have to repeat themselves. So like,
Did anyone hear that funny thing that I said?
I did this shit like 5 minutes ago. I said something twice. I said that I looked at people's dicks twice. And I was like, holy shit, I'm such a hypocrite. But when I hear a man say something, my dad does this shit all the time.
Say something once.
Say
Why say it again?
Literally.
Psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Fa 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 fa.
He'll say something and like make a comment like, "Oh, that looks like so and so." No one reacts. It's like, okay, it wasn't funny.
Moving on.
And then they'll say it again. Like guys say this all the time. I feel like at dinners or something. And I'm like, shut up.
I heard you the first
we
time.
heard you the first time and it wasn't funny. But when someone says something once and it sticks and it's like funny, I'm like, that's hot.
That's hot. Like, okay, cool.
But yeah, so
Or also, I like it when they say something and it doesn't stick and they don't say it again.
that's exactly that's what I mean. I guess I don't know how to articulate it, but that's what I mean. Like when they say something, it doesn't
doesn't
stick.
land.
Yeah, or
And-
it was kind of funny, but it was funny, but it wasn't cringe. And then
Or they
like,
didn't get the response that they needed.
Yeah,
but
and they
they're
shut
like,
up.
Fuck it.
Yes. So yeah, my third one is I guess
All in a day's work.
like summarize, not repeating themselves,
Yeah.
and just like acknowledging that and being like, I know when to shut up.
Okay,
Like,
perfect.
What are your three?
My number one, I think, is quality time. So people like understanding, I think, more so like how the style of how I like to spend time with people. And that's like very much scheduling, having something like planned out. So if someone like comes in to my life and is just basically like, okay, perfect. When are you available? I give them when I'm available, and they'll be like, okay, that day, this time, what do you want to do? Like, or they give me the option, like,
They're making
okay,
like an effort.
exactly. They're absolutely
Yeah.
making an effort, whether that's a relationship, a friendship, anything, like a new friend. Yeah, someone just like trying to be like actively in my life and being like, okay, great. Like, I would love to see you. I am trying to make time for you. That means a lot to me. I also love just like constant communication. I love all the love languages. I
You
can't.
do.
I'm a Leo. I can't get enough.
I know all three of yours are all the love, like every
It really-
variation of every love language.
It really is. I'm never truly satisfied. My second one is when people don't get weird about me sharing my location.
Mhm.
So I love to, you know what? Like, I don't have a problem with it. I want people knowing where I am. I think I feel safer when
Me
people know
too.
where I am. And if I am sharing my location with you, obviously, like, I care about you.
My
and
love language is
and I-
sharing my location.
I don't care if you're going to pull up. Like, I'd honestly love to see you. That's why I'm sharing my
Exactly.
location
I want
with
you to come run into me.
Exactly. Come run into me.
You're not doing it enough, actually.
Exactly. How about you come along? Or like someone will give it to me and be like, "Hey, I'm just like sharing my location to make sure like I get home safely." And
Yeah.
they check it and they're like, "Hey, I see that you're home." And I'm like, "Oh, I like that."
That's why I like having my friends' locations, because, like, at the end of the night, I'm like,
Shit,
like-
I'll share my location with someone after knowing them for a week.
me too.
I
5
don't
minutes.
care. So don't make it weird. The third one that I want to like honorable mention celebrate is people and their like understanding or like willingness to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
That one is like really excruciatingly important to me. So like, you know, like just completely themselves, like can just be like, hey, when I ask somebody like, hey, how are you today? Like, especially at my customer service job, like if they tell me like, I am not fucking doing well. I'm like, I asked you because I genuinely want to know.
So,
and like,
why are you not doing
exactly, why are you
like,
not doing
thanks
well?
for trusting me to
yeah,
tell me that kind of
exactly.
thing.
Like
Yeah.
I love people and like, you know, I went on this little 3-date bender, and the first date we're like having such a great time, and we end up like start kissing, and this person has a gushing nosebleed on me. And was so embarrassed and was just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. Like, blood all over my towels and my washcloths and stuff all over my floor. Like, blood was gushing everywhere. And
You sent me a photo of it.
it was fantastic. And I loved it so much. Like, it was something that, like, felt so good to me because it was so intimate. We're circling back to the intimacy. Like, I just felt so close to that person because it's like, you can be that with me. And like, I want to have the ability to like not make you feel weird for it, because it's like,
He's
you are
people
human.
Yeah, so like people that aren't afraid to be vulnerable
Exactly.
is like an opposite of ick.
Yes, it's like,
If you were to like hide it and be like, no, like let me take care of it.
no, or like shutting your feelings off, or just being like, I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
it. Like,
that's an ick.
stop it. Talk
Yes.
about it. Just talk about your
Yeah.
feelings. Be vulnerable. Like, share your location with people and don't pee-pee on your
Don't
pants.
hold back. Post a
Hold your
thousand
pee-pee back.
Not on me.
Huh?
Just kidding.
Not on me.
No.
Why'd you say it like that? Not on me. Not on me.
My
not
voice
on me.
cracked. Oh
Not
my
on me.
god.
Pee on me.
Pee on my couch so I can throw it away. I won't judge you for it.
So those were our segments.
So that was our so that was our 3 little.
We have one more thing to celebrate. And
What's-
guess what it is?
what?
Guess what it is? So we have a
I know.
hotline.
I was about to start singing that.
I love when your
Hotline
hotline bling. I can't wait for people to start calling us, leaving us voicemails.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a hotline.
We have a hotline.
Woo! Oh my God.
Do you want to hear the phone number?
Yeah.
Okay,
let's
so-
give it to them.
So in case you guys are old school and you like want to write it down, here's I'll give you the phone number, but
Do
you
you guys
can
have a pen and
also-
paper?
Do you have a pen and paper ready, ma'am? You can also just go on our Instagram, and there's a little link tree thing in our bio, and you can just click on the link in our bio. And
What's our Instagram?
Our Instagram is at fucking weird pod. FUCKINGWEIRD pod.
Good
POD.
job.
So you can go on there, and there's a little link on our Instagram bio, and you can just like add our hotline number as a phone number. You can text it, you can call it.
Woo! Add it to
You
your
can
favorites.
Send us nudes. You can do what.
Yeah, it's consensual. I don't care.
It's consensual. We'll rate them. We'll rate
Yeah.
your Hinge profiles. We'll rate your. Send us whatever the fuck you want.
Send
if you're
us
bored,
whatever you want. Send us
this is the abyss for you.
exactly. This is like
Send us a confession.
anonymously. We won't probably text you or call you back. But we'll read it.
well,
or
we
like,
might ask for permission or something. Yeah, But like,
exactly.
yeah, we might read it. We might not. We might
Tell us
delete it.
a pandemic Zoom date horror story.
Yeah, tell us the worst horror story you went on. You could call it. You could just text it. Either you can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on here. Whatever, however you guys want to communicate it with us, you can
Hey,
do it.
If I ever made you upset and you're an ex of mine and you got some shit to say,
Call us and let us know.
call us and let us know. I'll play it. I'll play it on air.
If you're an ex of mine, call the number and I'll answer it because you blocked me on everything else, you bitch. But the phone number, for those of you wondering, is 929-464-6696.
Say it again.
929-464-6696.
Say it again, Sydney.
929-464-6696.
Woo!
Okay, so we better have some fucking messages by... I'm
Next
gonna give
Monday.
it by 12 hours from when this comes out. You guys
Oh my
better be hitting that
Yeah.
inbox.
And when Sydney has a time frame for you, you better fucking
Yeah, not you
get
trying
there.
to get the 30 minutes of the head mama
I-
made up
my
colony.
my
You're
underground
just talking about ants.
leader. Talking about Paul Rudd, Ant-Man. I gotta make sure that I turned my oven off, Sid. I think we gotta go.
I think we gotta go too. Thank you so much for all of the feedback we got from our first episode. Also, with our hotline, send us feedback if we're doing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, whatever you guys want to send
if
us.
we pissed you off, let us know.
Yeah, send us hate mail. We can take it. But
That's
yeah,
why
thank you so much. Like, we got such an overwhelming response from our first episode. We literally didn't know that people listen to podcasts.
I know. That
and
was
everyone's been
so
so sweet.
so sweet. Like multiple messages, I was like tearing up, like people just being so and you know what? One more honorable mention.
Yeah.
If you have something nice to say and you think it,
And say
take
it.
the 30 seconds to like
Yeah.
message someone and just say it, because that shit means so fucking much. Like someone
Whatever
being like,
it is.
whatever it is, being like, hey, I listened to it. I think it's great. I hope you're doing well. You have no idea how much that means. Like,
Literally, yeah.
it's incredible.
It's so nice, and it takes so little time. But like, that's just a motivational Monday for you guys.
Yeah.
That you guys should do that, not to us, but to everyone.
But y'all are so sexy regardless.
yeah, you are. So we'll be here every Monday.
Let's give them a kiss.
Mwah.
Mwah.
And thank you guys so much for joining us.
Okay, we'll see you next Monday.
All right, bye.
Bye. This has been Don't Be Fucking Weird, episode number 2.
Don't be fucking weird.
Short Americano.
Can we get a shot about a
Short
condo?
Americano.
Oh, call me.
Don't be fucking
I'm
weird.
gonna give Kill mine. You have the hotline number, babe.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be fucking weird.
Bye.
Don't be fucking weird. Don't be fucking weird.